Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Coach Sherry. I'm in my car, so this is car chat and all that. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about my experience of going to an HBCU's homecoming after 50. So this weekend was my alma mater, Lincoln University homecoming. Lincoln University is the first HBCU in the country. It is in Pennsylvania, and it was founded in 1854, and that is pre-Civil War. So Lincoln is, to me, the most beautiful HBCU campus in the country because it was founded before Civil War and during slavery. It had to be in a safe place, and it is nestled in Amish land, and it is so beautiful. And even though it has grown so much since I graduated, there's more communities. So some of the farms that were there are now communities. It is still so beautiful. They did a great job preserving the area around it, as well as the campus. The campus has always been well preserved. Even some of the original buildings, they've always kept them up, kept them renovated. And I was happy to see that there is construction going on. So that means there's still money flowing and things are growing. That is awesome. So I went to my homecoming, and I am over 50. I will be double nickel in just a couple of days, really, the 22nd. So, going back to homecoming was very nostalgic for me. I haven't been back since 2012. So it's been 12 years since I went to homecoming. And going to homecoming was challenging because I had so much going on. My husband playing football, all of his games were on Sunday. And yes, they have a bye week every season, but unfortunately his bye week was never during homecoming. So when my husband played, even when he went to away games, I never really wanted to be out of town because just in case, I had to do something. And of course, if they were home, I was either at the game or home and picking him up after the game. That's just how we were doing it. But I never went to homecoming during that time. And then having children, and then our children became active in sports and just life. And it just always seemed like things were going on those weekends of homecoming. And we were out of town and didn't get back until Sunday night. So it made it challenging to go then. And then my children went to college. And listen, if you're over 50 and you love your school and it's been challenging getting to your homecoming, you probably are having some of the same issues. Then my children went to school. And even though a lot of parents I hear say, oh, I didn't go to my children's homecoming because they probably were like, oh, Mom, Dad, why would you be here or whatever? But no, that wasn't my case. I definitely went and experienced homecoming with my children. And one of the reasons why I did is because my parents did with me. I loved having my parents come to campus during homecoming. And sometimes people would tell me, I saw your parents, before I would even see them, because they wouldn't come directly to me. Sometimes they would just flow on the campus, with the alumni or whatever. And that's cool too. And I know that they loved it because vicariously through me, they got to experience that. My dad never graduated from high school. Even though my mother did, she did not go back to school until she was in her 30s. And we were all young, and she went back to get her associate's degree. Now, my mother's sister, who's 18 months older than her, did go and graduate from Howard University, but by then going to college, my mother was already married with a baby, a house, starting a business. So life was life, and so she never got to experience going to a homecoming. And not just any homecoming, but an HBCU homecoming. So some of you may be wondering, well, Coach Sherry, what's the big deal of a homecoming? A homecoming is really low-key a family reunion. It is a big family reunion. Oh my goodness. In families, you have people of all different ages that get together, and you have that commonality, which is your family name, your family history. And that's what going to college becomes. we have the same college name, the same history. The history of our school is our history. You know, the beginning of our school, the alumni, the special alumni that have graduated, the name recognition, just the great things that the school stands for, that belongs to all of us that have gone to that school. And so that becomes your family, that becomes part of you. And so going back to homecoming, you are gathered with people that, you know, are like kindred spirits. And even though people live in different parts of the country, they may have pledged different sororities or fraternities, they may have graduated in different years, that common denominator of Lincoln University is enough for us to just be so happy to see each other, hugs, and, you know, it was music, it was food, it was a flow. And, you know, North Carolina A&T State University here in Greensboro, North Carolina, they have their homecoming. All schools have homecoming, big, small, and different, PWI, HBCU, all of the above. But North Carolina A&T State University, they call their homecoming GHO, which stands for the greatest homecoming on earth. Now, my daughter graduated from A&T, so I'm an Aggie mother. So all of you out there, Aggie pride, you know. But I remember her freshman year, and I went to homecoming because I wanted to see what was the hype, because they be hyping it up. Like, what? How could this be the greatest homecoming on earth? And, you know, I went, and it was amazing. You know, a lot of people, a lot of going on and everything. But even though it was good, I didn't feel like it was the greatest. I said, even back then, I said, my homecoming is the greatest because that's my family. You're going to always know that your family reunion, it supersedes any other family reunion. You can go with your friends to their family reunions, but it's not your family. So even though you may have a good time, it hits different when it's your family. And so that's how I felt when I was at A&T. This is all good, and I get it. Y'all love it, but it's not Lincoln. And then fast forward to fall 2022, and my daughter graduated in spring 2022. And so she was graduated, and we went together to her homecoming in that fall, and that was the first homecoming since COVID. And when I tell you, it was so tremendous. I had such a good time. Oh my goodness. I actually, you know, did create a video from it. And I said, this is good. I almost can call this the greatest. Absolutely. But it's still, you know, even though I had a good time, it wasn't like people were running up to me. Oh, Sherry, you know, I haven't seen you in so long. How have you been? You know, I did meet some people. I did see a couple of people I knew, but it wasn't that same family. And so even with sorors, you know, it was good to see sorors. I didn't know many of them, most of them really, but they welcomed me with open arms, and that was comforting and that was nice, but it still was not Lincoln. And so again, now we're fast forwarding 2 years later, and I haven't been back to my school in 12 years, and my line sisters, we pledged in the spring of '89. So it's been 35 years. 35 years ago, I pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I can't even believe I was a grown-up 35 years ago. I was 19, but I was considered a grown-up. Listen, I could vote 35 years ago. So we didn't get a chance to get together in February, which is our actual anniversary. So we had decided to connect during homecoming this year. And so out of 18 of us, 14 of us were able to attend. And it was so nice to see them because I hadn't seen all of my line sisters all together in 10 years since our 25th. And, you know, that's a long time. That's too long. We are very fortunate, and I'm very grateful that all of us are still here, because some of our line cousins who are from other organizations, fraternities, sororities, and such, you know, when we all pledge at the same time, we call them our line cousins. Some of them have lost one or two from their line. So I know out of 18, and for all of us to be here is a blessing for sure. So, you know, we got an Airbnb, and it was a beautiful home. Unfortunately, I didn't stay there. I did stay in a hotel, but I was back and forth. I went back on Saturday, and then we went onto campus together, which was great. And when I tell you that Ooh, the reception that was received from people that, I came into Lincoln with, I graduated with, that graduated before me, after me, whatever, all of the above, was so wonderful. It was so wonderful to see everyone. Now, mind you, a lot of people I didn't recognize. What? I'm like, did I ever know this person? Can you please give me some backstory? How do I know this person? It's amazing how people change over the years. And really, it was the men. The men, it was so hard for me to recognize them. Some of them lost their hair, became salt and pepper. And, men just don't have the luxury as women, I think, where we could do things to kind of preserve us, over time. But it was so good to see everyone. And I still didn't see everyone because there were pictures I was in that showed up on Facebook. And so on my way home, so many people called and were like, oh my goodness, Sherry, I can't believe you were on the yard. I didn't see you. I didn't get a chance, blah, blah, blah. And, just to be on the top of people's mind and for them to genuinely be happy to see you, it does something to your spirit, to your soul. And it's definitely a feeling that I don't want to go away. Now that we're empty nesters, time is on our side, hopefully. I definitely want to make going to homecoming a thing. I really do. I feel like everyone needs that kind of energy, that, that connection at least once a year, and fortunately my school is also in the CIAA, which is the oldest intercollegiate sports program tournament in the country. It's even older than the NCAA. And so I want to go there. It's in Baltimore. It was in Charlotte, but now it's in Baltimore, and it does happen to fall around our real anniversary. So being more intentional with the ones that, I have history with, that make me feel good whenever I'm in their presence, is something that I want to incorporate more of in my life. There's no reason not. I believe that type of energy burst is going to, carry me through. I have so many different types of energy bursts, being with my family, my husband, my children, being with my cousins, being with my dad, being with my brothers. But then you have those friends, and I have some really great friends, but there's nothing beats my line sisters. So I need to have them more in my life so that it can keep me going, keep me having something to look forward to. And again, I'm gonna be more intentional and put it on my calendar, and I encourage them to do the same. So when these dates come up, these are the dates. Like, can't nothing else be booked during this time, because I am scheduled to go to homecoming. I am scheduled to go to the CIAA, and I'm going to do that twice a year, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, everyone, that's my experience of going back to a homecoming after 50. Oh, wait. So another thing, after 50, you start to have some health challenges, and you just can't hang like you used to. So it doesn't take much. Back in the day, you always want to just be in the mix everywhere. Oh, we're over here, and then tonight we're over there. No. When you're over 50, you're either over here or over there. You can't do both. So I knew, being that I was out and about all day on campus, I was not doing anything else that night. And even though some of my line sisters looked like they could hang like that, they couldn't do it either. And just taking your time, not being overexcitable. I remember back in the day, it would be like, you're screaming and so excited. Now it's like, oh, okay, hey. No less love given. It's just that the energy, you have to preserve it. Finding myself looking for that golf cart to take me hither or there, and but still enjoying it. Hearing the music from back in the day that still makes you bounce and bop and, get in with it, but not moving too much, just enough to be like, y'all remember that? And so, just still having a good time. Listen, if you are doing college tours, or if you're on the fence about what HBCU to consider, I want you to really think about Lincoln University. I'm so proud of that school. Everyone I know that have graduated from there are doing exceptionally well. All 18 of my line sisters, we are all doing very well in our fields that we decided to go into. doing all types of things. Out of 18 of us, we are doing quite a few different things that are very interesting, groundbreaking even, you know. And I know when I graduated, which is one of the reasons why I selected Lincoln, because one of my cousins, my dear cousin, first cousin, went there and she got a great career afterwards. And I was like, wow, she had a good time. Plus, she is working in her field of study and she loves her career. And she graduated maybe like 4 or 5 years, maybe like at least 5 years before I did. And she still works for the same company. You know, she could retire, but she loves what she does and she's in great condition. So why not keep it moving? Because what is retirement now, especially if you love what you do? When you are doing it because you love it and not because you have to, that hits a little different. So, it's cool. But yeah, if you're considering a school, check out Lincoln. I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. The campus is very welcoming. It's a small school, but it's very family oriented. You don't meet a stranger, and you'll be surprised at how many graduates are all over the world. You know, it is definitely worldwide, and people are respectful of each other in terms of you could be anybody. You could be sitting next to anybody's child. You could have any kind of level of influence, and you all treated the same. I never knew anyone to get sick from the food. The food is really good too, because that's usually a complaint about colleges, is the food. But at any rate, y'all, I hope that you are going to a homecoming. It's homecoming season. Aggies, North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride, their homecoming, GHO, they call it, is this weekend. I know the weekend after that is going to be Spelman and Morehouse's homecoming, and all other schools in between. I'm sure Central State, Winston-Salem, FAMU, Howard, Hampton, all those schools, October is the month to get it together. So, if you're into doing those homecoming tours, then get the calendar out and, get to doing. But yeah. So it's not a bad thing. Going to homecoming after 50 is a thing. And I'm glad I went and had a great time. All right, everyone, that's all I have for you. But remember, practice every single day. You just never know when you'll be put into that game. And that practice might be that game. But when you get in, I want you to get in and win. I am Coach Sherry.